Presented by Nebraska is back in game mode this week. What sort of changes will we see on both sides of the ball as Mickey Joseph molds the team into his own? We'll look back and look forward tonight with special guests, Husker lineman Rob Zatechka and sports writer Steve Sipple from Husker Online. Sean Callahan is here and we'll have the latest on a busy recruiting week. All that and more next on Big Red Wrap-Up. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. Nebraska had the week off. Coaches were out recruiting. We're going to talk about it all. Joining me tonight, former Husker Jay Moore and Sean Callahan. Do you have a problem with them giving them any days off during the bye week? I know you got to recoup, but I thought, as listening to Mickey today, I thought, you know what? They should practice every day.
I wouldn't have hated it. I would have hated it as a player,
yeah, sure.
But obviously they need the most work out of any team in the nation, in my humble opinion. But I hope, I imagine they probably went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and probably had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And so you can get after it in that short period of time, high intensity, good on good. I mean, essentially you're going back to it's spring ball. You're good on good for the whole time. Maybe you do a little scouting in there just to get yourself an extra, 10 to 15 to 20 reps to get prepared for Indiana, what they're going to do. But it's all, like he said, it's Nebraska versus Nebraska. It's competing. And I love what he said. And I truly hope that they got down to business, worked, kept everyone, healthy to the most part, and really identified guys who want to get better. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's not guys who have been starting, who have been playing. You're finding some guys who are willing to take that extra step, take that to the next level. Because what we've seen, obviously, through the first 4 games is nowhere near what it needs to be just to make the season somewhat respectable.
A few changes on the depth chart. Anything really jump out to you?
Well, Kevin Williams not listed on the depth chart. Started left guard. He's out. Had ankle surgery. So Ethan Piper will get a chance again. He started last year up until about the Oklahoma game before they moved him out of the lineup, but he was a 2020 starter as well. Ernest Hausman was not on the depth chart after being a starter early part of this season. Chris Kolarvik is officially back to inside backer. Nick Henrich back. So Hausman's role is probably going to be more special teams. You could see him at linebacker. A lot of young back end guys. I just don't know, Michael, how much we could really see a lot of new faces out there. I don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. First of all, they only signed 15 freshmen last year. So it's not like we're going to see a lot of freshmen out there because there's not very many already. You might see Omar Brown. You might see maybe a Malcolm.
I like him at the nickel.
Hartstug, but they'll shake it up a little bit. But I just don't know how much you can really shake it up right now.
I'd love to see Omar Brown play more just because watching him play at Northern Iowa, he can ball, and I'm surprised that he wasn't.
Injury issues have been back in. He had a back in.
Yeah, during the offseason, he didn't get a lot of practice. Of course, we always need your help to keep the conversation going. Same this week. Give us a call. Our friends from Nebraska College of Journalism and Mass Communications will answer your call while enjoying some Valentino's pizza. Save me some deep dish, people. A little bit, just a couple slices. Our sports intern, Sam, is here as well, managing the call center. If you prefer to email or text tonight, you can do it. BigRed@nebraskapublicmedia.org. And, of course, if you're thinking social media, send us your comments and questions. We're watching Facebook and Twitter, so reach out and help drive our conversation. Last week, we asked you, are you surprised at the state of Nebraska's defense? 65% of you said yes, 25% said no, and 10% just wants to know what's happening. Our all new sideline survey for this week. How will you feel if the sellout streak ends this season? Sad, it's the last great record the program has left. Mad, it's already been a long season, I can't take it anymore. Or glad, it's needed to go for a while now. Head to our website and vote, and head back each week for a brand new survey. Latest news in, it's okay for Indiana, get the sellout streak going.
Yeah, Athletic Director Trev Alberts had his monthly radio show tonight, announced that the Indiana game is sold out. So 3 more games left, and they don't play again for 4 weeks after this game. So there is a window. I think they're going to get it done. I mean, we're talking like less than 1,000 tickets for all of these games remaining. Wisconsin and Minnesota, those are quality home games.
Are those return tickets, or will there be more added on if Wisconsin and Minnesota?
Great question. A lot of those type of teams are going to probably use it. Like Wisconsin's going to use their allotment. Minnesota's going to probably use their allotment. Illinois is probably the one that you would think. But I always wondered, how do they count those allotment tickets? Because those are contracted to the opponent and always returned last minute. So that's always been a gray area question with regards to the sellout streak.
Yeah. Would it hurt you if, as a native Nebraskan who wanted to play for them, if all of a sudden that streak was gone?
you asked me this before the season, I would have said it would be a detriment to the program. But looking at it now, I think just what we've been through this year and just the last, decade with this football team, I almost feel like I'm ready to start fresh.
Okay.
Let's
That's
take
what Mickey Joseph said over and over, right?
Let's take it to the studs. Let's take it down to the foundation. You know what? We have a whole new staff coming in. Let's just clean slate it all, because it's hard. I can't imagine. It gets tough as a fan. Whether you have your season ticket holder, the donations that come with those season tickets, the effort, whether you're coming from Omaha, Grand Island, Scotts Bluff, way out west, to make that trek every weekend to watch sub-level, not good football. That's tough. Even though it's Nebraska, I imagine that gets harder and harder to put forth the effort and put forth the money to do that. So it's going to, to me, it's going to be interesting with how they play against Indiana, and then so on and so forth the rest of the season. Just the people that want to show up to see a bad product.
I think it is still very important, though, to have. I mean, yeah, you want to start fresh with the coaches and maybe players and things like that, but Nebraska fans are Nebraska fans, and that's what makes this different. Nebraska's got the second smallest population of any Power 5 state. I mean, you're talking almost 1 out of 20 people in the state or in Memorial Stadium on game day. It is an anomaly. It is what makes this special. It is why a school with the fewest amount of 4- and 5-star recruits within 500 miles can, play at this type of level because of the great fan base and support. Without that, Nebraska's just like a Wyoming or somewhere else. That is what makes Nebraska, Nebraska. And if you lose that fan and that tradition and that history, I think that's a big, big blow just to the overall perception of the program.
We go back to that move that was made after 09, then 10 to go to the Big Ten. The more you look at that, the move was great, obviously. Financially, it's what's going to keep Nebraska, if they ever do get back.
And you see it in the TV ratings. Nebraska still draws great numbers. They have the highest rated game on FS1 all year. The Fox game with Oklahoma was 3.4 million. The game against Northwestern was 4.3 million. I mean, those are huge numbers. But the stadium size, I mean, Nebraska, when they joined the Big Ten, I think Tom Osborne really is like, we got to keep up with Ohio State and Michigan. We're going to keep adding more seats. And, when they added that east balcony, that upper 600 level, I mean, that was a very aggressive move to add that many more seats up there, because that just took more people out of the north and the south, put them in a better seat on the east. And that's kind of what we're battling right now, is how do you sell those back row north and south stadium seats? Now, I think they can get through this. If they get through the year, you're going to see Nebraska have a new coach. They'll get a bump off that. And then the stadium, as Trev Alberts talked about on Thursday with the leadership of Nebraska, they're going to reconfigure the stadium and probably shrink the overall capacity to help the overall fan comfort.
It goes back to what Jay was saying. It's a 7.5 to 10-hour commitment, depending on where you're driving from. You want to sit in a nice seat. You want to have internet. You
Cup
want to
holder.
get food. And eventually you probably want to have a beer or a drink. So all of that is what will keep it going, I think, eventually, along with getting a new coach and, of course, playing better.
Yeah, the amenities do matter, and we're going to see it with basketball. They're only going to make $100,000 off beer, wine, and liquor sales as a university. It's going to help the arena more, because they're going to make about $900,000, and they need that money on the arena side of things here in the city of Lincoln. But that will be the first trial run to see how alcohol goes. But they, Trev Alberts said the Garth Brooks show, they said, we're not ready yet. I mean, they didn't have the infrastructure to have 90,000 people drinking over 125,000 tall boy beer cans over the course of a concert.
Yeah, I got to get the taps working first. What's good? You look back on the first four. What stands out to you as a positive?
Oh man, that's really hard, because I tend to always remember the negatives more than the positives. That's just being a football player. You always tend to remember what you did poorly. I'll say this: I think Anthony Grant. That's a positive with the offense. I think Casey Thompson, what he's able to do so far as a quarterback, that's a positive. Trey Palmer, I think there's a positive, and that's in my opinion. Okay. The punting game, that's a positive. The punting game,
tackle too.
The punting game. The punting game's good. That's a positive. After that, I think the buck stops there. I think it's been a few guys here offensively, some special teams, defensively. there is zero positives, in my opinion. That's a dumpster fire. That's about the only way I can phrase it defensively.
Yeah. Sean, if you take away the North Dakota game, so the FCS game, and just go with the FBS games they played, Nebraska's 131st in opponents' yards per game, 583 yards. We look back to 2017. We remember how bad that defense was. No one in the country gave up more than 535. Nebraska's given up 583, which
in the
is
three
last
FBS games.
In the three FBS games, and giving up 41.7 points. And the worst stat, and I told this to Jay, because I don't think I've ever seen this before, 7% of the time that Nebraska has an offensive play, they get sacked. When the other team has the ball, 1.5% of the time, they sack the quarterback. That is a huge margin, percentage-wise.
Take out the North Dakota game, does Nebraska have a sack on the year?
Yes, didn't they have two?
They had a couple against Oklahoma.
Two against Oklahoma.
Okay, they had a couple, but their
Yeah.
sack number is startlingly low. And a lot of that has to do with first and second down. I mean,
Yeah.
Nebraska's not getting in a position on third down to get sacks.
These are just defensive numbers are historically bad. They definitely are. It's time to hear from the coaches and players in our Big Red Report.
You know, as we get back into Big Ten play, you know, our kids got to look at this as a fresh start. As a, you know, just a brand new start in Big Ten play. It'll be our second Big Ten football game. It was really good competition. We got after each other. And today we was getting ready for Indiana, and I was happy with their effort today. Because we talked about effort between you and you. And they gave us that today and last week.
Mickey, he's kind of getting a different feel at practice and stuff, and kind of a different vibe going around, and practice kind of switched up a little bit, and you know I can see that. It's definitely a reset for us, and you know every week we're thinking, you know, we're going 1-0 that week, you know, 0-0 going into the game, and it's just beat the team in front of us.
We eliminated some things that we did in the past, but Bill's not out there by himself. He's the D-line coach, the linebacker coach, and the secondary coach. They're all working together, and they're working together well. I told those guys yesterday how I appreciate them jumping on board. So they've been meshing, and sometimes it's hard to do that, but they've been meshing. But Bill's sharp. Bill's a really good football coach. He understands what I want. I got to see him in action at LSU, you know, with Dave Aranda. So he knows what I want. He knows what he's doing.
Really, the biggest thing is Coach Bush is just trying to, I wouldn't say simplify everything, but, you know, kind of make it so we don't have to, we can get our feet set in the ground and we can just play. A lot of his emphasis has just been having your feet in the ground ready to go at all times and having your eyes in the right place at all times, too.
I think it's important. I think beating Indiana is number one goal, but it's really important for this football team just to get some confidence that they can start something and finish it, and that's our goal, to beat Indiana.
We're pleased to be joined by former Husker lineman Rob Zatechka. Thanks for joining us, Doc. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're good. Here's a opening question for you. What's your thoughts on the season so far?
Oh my gosh, we were supposed to be 3-1 or 4-0 at this point. This is crazy. I mean, I don't want to say. I mean, it's been nothing short of a disaster. When you look at what's happened in Lincoln, where you look at the on-field product, when you look at the fact that you've had the head coach and the defensive coordinator fired, I mean, it's just the disaster is about the only word that works.
Rob, when you look at just development of the line play, let's go to your expertise, offensive line. When you analyze it from afar, is it talent? Is it development? Is it coaching? And I know the easy out is all the above, but what are you seeing why the Nebraska line, the last few years particularly, has just not developed and played like many thought it could and would?
I think a lot of it does go back to talent and some of the recruiting that you saw with guys. I think there was a big push when you go back to the kind of 28, even before then, 2016, 2017, there was a big push to try and get these huge guys that we got to match up with Iowa. We got to match up with Minnesota just from a pure size standpoint. And those were some of the recruits that they went after. And you had a few misses in there too. You had guys like, I think it was Branson Yeager out of Utah, who never really, I'm not sure he ever actually stepped foot in Lincoln, at least not in a meaningful sense as a player. But you had some of these huge guys that just have gotten out on the field and haven't been able to perform. And I think some of it is where you don't have the ability to move that much mass effectively against good teams, against good players at this level. One of the few guys that I thought was able to do that was Teddy, and he's out again now. You've got a guy that's lost almost one full season last year as a starting left tackle, lost probably the better part of this year now as a starting left tackle. He was one of the few really, really huge bodies out there that I thought moved well enough that he could match up with the really good Big Ten defensive football players. You kind of go back to, you want athletes on the line. You want guys who can move, guys who can play, guys who can match up with defensive linemen, but can also match up with linebackers and defensive backs in space. A good example of that would be a guy like Juergens. I think the snap thing overshadowed how good he really was. But once he got the snap issue fixed, he was a very, very good player for Nebraska. He was arguably the best offensive lineman I think Nebraska's had over the last at least half dozen years, if not dozen years. And I think once he takes over for Kelsey with the Eagles, he's going to show that at the NFL level too.
Rob, looking at sticking with the offensive line and just the offensive game plan kind of going forward for the next 8 games, Mickey Joseph talked about slowing it down a little bit, keeping the defense off the field. Can that help an offense? Also, a second question would be introduction of more QB runs. Is that a thing? Is that something else that you could foresee happening to help the offensive line gain a little more confidence and just get that +1 and just kind of help the offense just kind of get a little more confidence and more consistency in the run game?
I think in terms of slowing things down a bit, I think that would be a huge boon to both the offense as well as the defense. If you can stay on the field longer, and you do have to kind of do that by design in terms of the type of offense you're running. Scott definitely didn't want to run that kind of offense. I don't know if Whipple wants to either, and it'll be interesting to see what we see going forward now that we're past the Oklahoma game. Are you going to try and do a little bit more of a ground-based, sort of grind it out 3 yards in a cloud of dust, where maybe you see a little bit more of a power zone or zone blocking plays up front where 3.5 yards of play is acceptable. We're not trying to get those big chunk plays. You're just trying to get 3 or 4 yards at a time and burn a little bit more clock. You mentioned the quarterback run. It's an interesting concept, and I think Casey Thompson definitely has that ability. The problem is I think if you're trying to make the quarterback sort of the key ball carrier within an offense, it's great in terms of keeping a defense off balance, but you don't want the quarterback to ever be your primary ball carrier. And that's what happened with, I thought, Adrian Martinez. It's that you had a guy that Nebraska's best running threat was their quarterback, and you got a guy who's getting beat up. He's getting hit a lot. He's taking those blows. That's leading to turnovers. That's leading to those fumbles. It did kind of a disservice to Martinez, I thought, but at the same time, we didn't really have anybody else. I mean, if you've got guys, if Gabe Ervin's playing a little bit better now, if Anthony Grant can still carry the ball 20 plus times a game, if you can find somebody else on that roster like Yant who can come in and start being a little bit more productive, I think those are the things that you're going to have to try and do, is try and get the ball into the hands of the running backs more than you have been in the past, even more so than what we've seen this very season, because I think that's the way you're going to slow that offense down a little bit, burn a little bit more clock, and take the load off of the defense.
Former Husker Rob Zatechka joining us here on the wrap-up. Going back to the coaching changes you referenced at the beginning, did Trev have any other option, in your opinion, than to let go of Scott Frost?
I mean, he could have waited until October 1st, I guess. I'm not sure it would have made a huge difference other than there's all this behind-the-scenes stuff we don't see, and I think there's probably some degree of value in knowing that it's time, maybe putting somebody else in charge like Mickey who can maybe, I hate using the word salvage, but again, I I said disaster earlier, and so
Yeah.
I guess salvage is maybe the best word for this. Can maybe salvage a couple of wins here. I'm not sure I see a lot of wins on the schedule, but if you could salvage 2, maybe even 3 wins, that might be the best you can hope for. And I don't know if they saw that happening if Scott remained the head coach even through October 1st. So the other thing is it gives you the option to you're kind of putting up that sign, putting up that notice that, hey, we're going to go ahead and start looking for a new coach. If there are interested parties, if you've got a third party search firm that can start contacting coaches' agents, you can get that ball rolling a couple weeks early, and that might make a difference in terms of who you get.
All right, I'm putting you on a spot here, Rob, but you got a statewide audience. Who's your guy? Who do you think is the next? I mean, who's a good fit for this job at Nebraska? Who are you kind of lobbying for? You know, kind of have your bet on right now for this job?
Again, this is like nickel bets, right? So I mean, it's all for fun here at this point because it's all speculation.
Yep.
You know, I love Chris Kleiman, I love Lance Leipold, I love Dave Aranda. The guy that I look at that I think would be a really good fit in Lincoln, and I think would be a really interesting candidate, is Monken at Army.
Yeah, and we've seen before he can run multiple offenses. Certainly a guy that could come in here and take the talent he has and make them better through development, right?
And that's the biggest thing is that, I mean, you've got a development-based coaching staff. Army has some good athletes. You've got an ability now with the service academies where they are recruiting athletes to play on their athletic teams. It's not just, hey, we're recruiting well-rounded, incredibly intelligent soldiers. I think they're still doing that. But they're going after the athletes now because they do want to win in athletics at the academies. There's some pretty good football players up at Army right now. But again, kind of like what you said, it's a development-based process at those types of schools, at those types of programs. And you've got a guy that's shown he can develop when he maybe doesn't have the overall talent or the overall quality of recruits that some other schools are able to get.
Doc, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time.
100%. Good to see you guys.
All right. Next up on the show, we learn more about an organization striving to take medical care for Nebraska athletes. We'll be joined by Stephen M. Sipple, from Husker Online as well. But as we go to break, images from the season so far, courtesy of Hail Varsity. Stay with us. We're back soon. Welcome back. Sports is important to Nebraska. From football to volleyball to baseball, the state recognizes the impact these athletes have. But after their playing days are over, who takes care of these athletes? One former Husker was determined to answer that question.
Every year, thousands of athletes represent colleges and universities, giving their whole self to the sport. That dedication of their mind and body sometimes brings medical hardships after their playing days are over. In the Cornhusker State, the Nebraska Greats Foundation is looking to improve the lives of these individuals.
Played at Bellevue College, it's now Bellevue University. I'd been healthy my whole life. Within not even 10 years, I had 2 back surgeries, a neck surgery, a shoulder surgery, surgery to rebuild both my thumbs. My heart went into atrial fibrillation, and I had double viral pneumonia, and both my lungs were collapsed. So all that, even with insurance, you're left with a huge pile of bills you have to pay. A friend of mine I went to high school with, we were having lunch one day, and he says, well, here's something you might try. And what is this? It's Nebraska Greats Foundation.
The nonprofit provides financial support to any former letter-winning athlete from Nebraska's 16 four-year colleges and universities who face medical hardships. This all started with former Nebraska linebacker Jerry Murtaugh and a promise he made to an old friend.
10 or 12 years ago, I had an event in Omaha. I invited about 50 former Husker athletes to my event. There was one certain individual I have always wanted to meet, and his name was Andre Franklin. We're talking a little bit, and he's shaking and he's stuttering, and I go, what's wrong, Andre? He says, I've been sick lately, and hitchhiking from Lincoln tonight didn't help. I said, why would you do that, Andre? Pulls me closer, looks me in the eye. He said, because I gave my word to a Husker. What he did for me, most men wouldn't have done. Did I follow up? I knew he was sick. I did not. 2 years later, he dies in Lincoln by himself. I promised my family, I promised Andre, we're going to help former athletes, and this is the way we're going to do it. So I called Mike Ditka, who used to play for Chicago, coach for Chicago. He started a foundation called the NFL Greats, helping former NFL players with their medical and emergency needs. And I said, I need your help. I need to look at your foundation. It's exactly what I need to help state of Nebraska. He says, Jerry, my guy is going to send you everything. I hope it helps. God bless you. Click. And that was it. Next day, I have the whole 501c3 program for the NFL Greats. That's how it came to tuition.
Since then, the Nebraska Greats Foundation has helped 34 athletes and handed out $500,000 worth of financial aid. But they're not satisfied there.
I need recipients. We don't have enough. Most athletes, they won't ask for help. That's where I come in. We're going to help all former athletes in the state of Nebraska. I come from a family of 10. They taught us help, and if you need help once in a while, you ask, and they're going to be there for you. Family. We're all family.
They say it's a family. It definitely is. I mean, they're going out of their way to help me. I can spend time with my daughter and my 2-year-old grandson, Miles, and he's just the greatest little guy in the world. I love him with all my heart. Life has improved tenfold.
Andre isn't sitting right here with me. And I know he's sitting up there, looking down, going, you're not doing enough, Mert. You just aren't doing enough. And I said, all right, I'll keep going.
We are joined now by the one and only Stephen M. Sipple from Husker Online. Sip, We appreciate you coming back. We thought there was no chance, but we appreciate
Why wouldn't I come back?
Well, the first time it got a little hairy. You know?
Did it?
Jay and you got into it. It was.
I don't remember
It was.
that.
Don't worry about it. I made that up. This question is in the prompter, so I'm going to tell you before. So don't look at me funny. Is this what you thought Nebraska would be through 4 games?
No.
Prompter.
No.
Read it.
No, I don't care if it's in the prompter. No, I didn't think at all this would be the case.
Yeah.
An utter disaster. No, I picked 7 and 5, and then I backed down to 6 and 6. And I don't know where I'm at right now. Well, I do know where I'm at, but we don't need to talk about it right now.
Well, this game's huge. Saturday night is huge.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have to get a win against a team that, as Sean said earlier, is probably the worst team in the East in Indiana. You have to win that game.
Them or Rutgers, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they need something good to happen, for sure. I mean, you know, you always worry, not always worry, but right now you worry about it unraveling a little bit if they don't win.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if they can beat Indiana and get one of those 2 road games, which is, I think, gettable,
Yeah.
especially Rutgers, then, you know, there's some energy, you know, and there's actually a little bit of momentum. And the West isn't all that good. I mean, it's just not. You know, Illinois you should be able to beat. Wisconsin's backed off. Iowa's backed off.
Northwestern lost to Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, Northwestern's awful. And so, yeah, I mean, I still, for some reason, am somewhat optimistic that they can make it work to a 5-7 type season.
You know, I think it's since 2017 the last time they won a game after a bye week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I know Scott never did. Frost never won one. I think they did it in 2017. There's something about going to a bye week and coming out of it and playing well, and they haven't done it in years.
Well, to me, that addresses how they practice in the bye week. Because there's some people who will approach it as, hey, this is time to get better.
Vacation week.
Yeah, it's time to get better. And then you're good on good, like Nebraska versus Nebraska. And then some coaches will view it as more of like NFL would have a bye week. Hey, we're getting in and out. It's no pads. Let's keep people healthy. Let's get them refreshed. And it's just I don't agree with that. And I think that's what has happened in the past is they come in like that and you just get yourself into bad habits. You kind of lull yourself to sleep all of a sudden, and then boom, game week happens. You're like, whoa. What happened? You're off a step. So I think that has been an issue in the past, and it'll be interesting to see with competing and going hard a little bit this week, just to see how they come out and play against Indiana.
When you look at the defense, Sip, what can Bill Busch do in a week's time to kind of start the repair of what right now is maybe the worst defense statistically in Nebraska's history?
Oh, there's things he can do. I mean, he's doing it. I mean, they're going to simplify. I mean, he's addressed that issue that I think he believes Chinander was making maybe calls that were overly precise pre-snap, trying to match everything up perfectly. And what you saw was confusion. And so, well, one of the big things Bill's addressing is just simply getting your feet set.
Yeah.
Footwork, but really just getting your feet set properly pre-snap.
It's fundamental.
And yeah, Sean, come on, we sit up there and watch those games from the press box, and how often have we said, man, they look disorganized pre-snap.
I mean, they weren't ready to go against North Dakota.
Right, that was the game they looked most disorganized, but there were other instances of it that you've seen. And I mean, those holes that you see North Dakota running through, Oklahoma running through, you don't see those kind of holes in Nebraska. Nebraska running backs aren't running through those kind of holes.
And Nebraska's offense isn't 5.7 yards per play, which is only about 50th in the country.
Yeah.
They're giving up 6.8, which is almost last in the country. Yeah. It's historically bad defense. We showed those stats earlier. If those changes are made and some different players are in, you think it's going to make a big difference on the field? We talk about it, but
big difference. I mean, it's all relative, right? Can they go from 128th nationally in total defense to 80th? That would be a sizable step. Yeah, I do think they can get better. I think here's the trick, though. It's a trick. You can talk about simplifying, but you can go too far with that. I mean, you're in the Big Ten. You're the best coaches in the land. They'll shred you. If you're too simple, you'll get shredded. So there's a fine line.
Unless you have dudes like Ohio State.
Well, even they, yeah, I guess.
And they can win on the line of a scrimmage.
Yeah. But I still say you can't be too simple or you get shredded.
Well, look how much better Ohio State is by changing a defensive coordinator. We talk about how great their players are. They had great players last year. They didn't play anywhere as well as they're playing now.
It makes it, come on. I mean, coaching makes a difference.
Look at Pelini when he came in in 03.
How quickly that changed. Yeah. So talking about Indiana, you have a feel for the game. We know Connor Bazelak can throw the ball around a little bit. They're not very good on defense either, especially at the point of attack. How do you think Nebraska does?
Well, it's tough. I mean, Indiana's offense versus Nebraska's defense is obviously a big problem.
Sure.
Because they can attack Nebraska where they're vulnerable, secondary, intermediate, underneath a little bit. Pick on those linebackers in coverage. You can do it. They can do it. They have the guys to do it. They have the quarterback to do it. They have the scheme to do it. I like that running back too, Sean Shivers.
Yeah.
Little guy, 5'7", 185. He's tough runner. Squirts out of there. I imagine he'll be a problem. Their offense will be a problem. I don't think their defense is as bad as some people portray it. I watched the Cincinnati second half, and Cincinnati got nothing. I mean, Cincinnati ran 32 plays and got 86 yards. Couldn't run the ball. They ran 30 times for 40 yards. They tried. Cincinnati couldn't run it on them. Now, it was 38 to 10. It was 38 to 10 at half. So, there's context involved in that discussion. But, I like Indiana better than Nebraska. I wouldn't pick Nebraska to win this game. I know I'm a Big Red wrap-up. That's a terrible.
But Sean, I don't want to give away the prediction, but Sean may not have picked Nebraska to win.
We still got
it's hard to pick them
this week.
That's right.
It's hard to pick them right now. I mean, they're playing a 3-1 team that I saw against Cincinnati. They weren't particularly competitive, but there were times where you thought, okay, that doesn't look that bad.
Well, so obviously Nebraska didn't play on Saturday, but Adrian Martinez did play on Saturday.
Yeah.
If you have a timeline out there on Twitter, all you saw were people congratulating him and very happy for him. Your feelings on what you saw from Adrian Martinez beating Oklahoma?
I was really impressed by his acceleration.
Oh, yeah, he looks quick again.
Yeah, I think you got to go back to 2018 when he was a freshman to see that sort of acceleration. He's obviously very healthy.
Yeah.
Obviously feels very comfortable in that offense, in that environment. Deuce Vaughn helps him a lot.
Yeah.
So does that offensive line. So does the offensive line. And, Kansas State plays really strong complementary football. Adrian had to do way too much here. He's verbalized that. I mean, he talked about it openly in an Athletic article on August 22. And the comments are pretty striking. He didn't dog Nebraska, but said there's nobody. If you look across the Big Ten, there was no team that asked their quarterback to do as much as Nebraska asked.
His percent of offense all 4 years he was here was.
Yeah, so I was glad to see it. I was glad to see him win a close game. He wasn't able to do that. I'm glad to see him on track to get to a bowl game. He looked like the player we kind of thought we'd see at Nebraska, late in his career. We just never got to see it.
Look at all those Nebraska records, man. Look at all those Nebraska records. The total offense records, 400-yard games, 300-yard games. How will he be remembered, you think, here?
Complicated. It's a complicated discussion. He's odd. He's not odd, but he's very fascinating to me because he's very polarizing with a very likable personality.
Yeah.
He's one of the most polarizing figures I've ever seen for someone that likable. But a lot of, he's polarizing because he fumbled all the time and threw a lot of picks. I mean, he had 48 turnovers.
I don't think he really had a chance or option to stay at Nebraska.
Not really.
I mean, with a new offensive coordinator coming in, and he was going to be out for the spring.
The whole spring, yep.
Him staying after the shoulder injury, I just don't even know if that was really on the table.
Well, it's really odd. I don't know how often it's happened you'd have a 5-year starter. I mean,
that's never had a winning record.
Right.
I was going to say, what if you show those stats to someone that does not know Nebraska football? You just show them that page we just had there and say, you tell them, Nebraska never played in a bowl game.
I know.
And their reaction to be
complicated.
The fumble thing is so interesting because if you go back and you look, whether it was Scott Frost was, except for 1 year, when he was offensive coordinator or head coach, his quarterback always was top of the country in fumbles. It was the offense. Now he's in an offense where Chris Klieman's like, we're taking care of the ball. We're not turning it over. And you see how he's played. Even against Tulane, where they didn't play great, avoiding turnovers. It'd been interesting if he could have played in the system here where that was the goal.
Yeah.
To avoid turnovers.
Yeah, I think he fumbled 30 times at Nebraska and lost 8.
Marcus Mariota fumbled the ball, I think, 29 times in 3 years. Other quarterbacks that he had did the same thing. It's something about the offense that they ran.
Yeah, Adrian, like I said, complicated discussion. I always said that to Sean, to other people, that they asked way too much of him.
Yeah.
They just put too much on his shoulders. And now you're seeing him perform in an offense that doesn't do that. It does look different. He hasn't been great, though. He wasn't great in the games before Oklahoma, but
they really opened it up. There's something to be said for coaching. The whole week I talked about they threw one pass over 20 yards those first 3 games. They immediately came out and were trying to stretch the field. That was Kleiman holding back for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's good coaching.
Kleiman 3-1 against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, Colin Klein, the new offensive coordinator. There
Yeah.
Colin Klein, the former quarterback from Kansas
Correct,
State.
yeah.
How much does the sellout streak matter to you?
Oh, boy. I don't want to butt heads with you and Jay. I'm with Sean on this one. I think it's big.
You do?
Well, I think it's big because the program has lost almost all of its identity, everything, but it has that. I think it should cling to something.
Academic All-Americans.
Yeah, nobody talks about that.
When's the last one, though?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like 348 of them.
You're right. You're right. But now kids are pros, so that's sort of, it's not,
Yeah.
I don't think it's as germane to the discussion as it once was. But the sellout streak is always germane to the discussion. No offense, Jay. I just think it's a big deal. I
don't disagree with it. I just, to me, it's just, if it goes away, I just don't think it's end of the world.
I don't think they need it to win. That was my point. What they're going to win because they're going to be getting $75 million from the Big Ten.
I agree with that.
And because of that, they're going to build this huge facility. Because of that, they should be able to get players in here with NIL. There's a lot of other reasons Nebraska should win, other than the fact that they have 86.
I watched the Michigan-Maryland game. There was noticeable seats empty at the Michigan game early in the game. So I'm just like, and granted, they have 25,000 more seats.
That was an 11 a.m. game.
But still, it was a pretty good.
Right.
It was the first big game they played all year, though.
Right, and just
figured fans would come out.
Don't get me wrong. It's a nice thing to have, but the juice got to be worth the squeeze here. There's got to be some give and take in my opinion. Like, give me something. Give me something to get excited about, right?
I get it, but what I say is give me something that identifies the program. I mean, there's an identifier that says this is Nebraska.
I would go with
one
winning.
thing
It's
left.
the fans.
Yeah. It
It
is.
is. It's a great thing to have, but it's just I'm getting off my soapbox.
Sip, last thing.
I'll be on mine.
Who's your coach front runner right now? Come on.
Oh, I mean, I think if you could, I think Dave Aranda, but I don't know if you can get him. There's a lot of it's a complicated discussion to me, nuanced, because there's a lot of guys that I would think would be great that you just can't get. Luke Fickell, for instance.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to ever leave there.
Right.
Now they're heading to the Big 12.
So if it's not Aranda, I do think Lance Leipold is very viable.
And he'd definitely take the job.
I think so.
Unless Wisconsin comes.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know for sure what's going to open, but they would have a great shot to get Lance, and he would be a very good fit. And what he's doing at Kansas is remarkable. What he did at Buffalo's really good. What he did at Whitewater, he won 6 national titles. And I used to watch those games all the time.
Yep.
And it was striking how well coached Whitewater is. And it's striking. And if you just want to simplify the discussion, watch Kansas play. They're well coached.
Fun to watch.
Well, they're well coached too. I mean, they just do things right.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to see Nebraska do.
Does Bill O'Brien get enough traction?
Yeah, I love Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
I mean,
I forget about him. I don't know if it's you kind of have the Randas, the Campbells.
Well, I like
the
them.
Leipolds.
You got to
but
wait
O'Brien.
a long time for O'Brien, though, because they're going to be coaching into December.
Good point,
no doubt.
Sean.
Sip, we appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you, guys.
Good seeing you again.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
time for another break. Next up, Sean will have all the latest updates on Recruiting Trail. But first, another look at images from the 2022 season, courtesy of Hail Varsity. Stay with us. survey question. How do you feel, how would you feel if the sellout streak ended this season? 78% say glad. It needed to go for a while now, 20% saying sad, and 2% saying mad. It's already been a long season. Make sure to visit the Wrap Up website and cast your vote. Welcome back to Big Red Wrap Up. I'm Michael Severe, Sean Callahan. Time to talk some recruiting. Sean, let's talk about Arnold Barnes first up.
Yeah, Nebraska will have an official visitor in town this weekend, a running back, Arnold Barnes.
Booker T. Washington. My mom went there.
3-star consensus on 3. Mickey Joseph and the staff were at his game this weekend watching him play in person. And he's a guy that's come on late, Michael. I mean, this is a name that Brian Applewhite and Mickey Joseph, they know the lay of the land down there.
I guarantee you he's tough. The kids that go to Booker T are not, that's a tough neighborhood, tough area.
And where is that at?
It's about 6 blocks from the Superdome.
Wow.
Right on Earhart. There used to be a project there. That's where Marshall Faulk grew up. It's a much better neighborhood now, but it's still a really tough school.
And I think these are the kind of guys, when you look at what Nebraska, they got A.J. Allen, Anthony Grant. They've got some really good running backs out of the Georgia, Louisiana area. And this is another one of those guys that I think this staff feels like they have a very good read on. And it was a late offer. It was a late offer about a week or two ago.
Middle name of this kid is Thick, 5'9", 225. Staff was on the recruiting trail down Louisiana, other places. Break that down for us.
Yeah, you saw a number of coaches go out, and all Nebraska hit 13 games. They visited over 30 schools that we confirmed, but Mickey Joseph was in Louisiana, Omarion Miller, Ryan Robinson, Brian Applewhite was in Texas, Louisiana, and they saw Barnes, the running back, obviously down there too. Travis Fisher got a chance to check in on Dwight Boodle. The corner commit, Barrett Ruud, was in Colorado to watch Hayden Moore on Thursday, then Dylan Rogers on Friday in Texas. Bill Bush saw his guy, wide receiver Jaden Doss, down in Kansas City at Raymore Peck-Keeler play. And then Mike Dawson checked out Riley Van Poppel, a Texas defensive line commit. And then he was at the Iowa Western game on Saturday. So, I mean, this is the busiest bye week I've seen Nebraska doing recruiting under the Frost regime, and it's no surprise with Vince Ginta now actually running the pieces and say, no, you're going here, you're going here, you're going there. They did a very good job. And then locally, Sean Beckton, he got to check out the whole state. He was in Chambers watching Carter Nelson and Ainsworth, and then he stayed the night in Norfolk, went out to Wayne to watch Ben Bramer and Pierce play at Wayne State College for that game. And then Donovan Raiola will be out to watch Brock Knutson play this weekend in Waverly, the Scottsbluff native. So that they had a lot of guys out. I believe Donovan Raiola might have watched his nephew play. I had some Husker fans send a picture of him out at Dylan's game, just there as a family member watching him play this week.
Tyson Terry's our in-state guy. Saw him in the sidelines as a freshman. That kid's a giant.
Yeah, this kid does not look like a freshman.
No.
He is a Terry, first of all, which they are a well-known North Omaha family. All of them are wrestlers. I mean, they're the toughest dudes in North Omaha, these guys, and he's that kind of guy. He is the first freshman to win Class A heavyweight or B. I believe somebody won it like C or D, and that's it. But he won it as a freshman, and he was offered by Nebraska after his freshman year. He started both ways as a freshman for Larry Martin at Omaha North, which is extremely hard to do. I think Ron Coleman might have been the last guy that did it. And he also, by the way, Michael, was a state champion wrestler for the Vikings. But love this guy. He's got offers from Iowa, Minnesota, a number of Power Fives right now, and it's going to be a battle. I mean, Nebraska's got their work cut out for him. He grew up really liking Oregon, by the way, so that's another factor. His uncle is the D-line coach at Iowa Western, so he's got pretty good people around him, and they've traveled the country, do a lot of wrestling events. So this will be interesting. He's got 2 more years after this year, though, of high school football.
He's a grown 16-year-old, though. Sean, we appreciate it. Let's talk about around the Big Ten. Minnesota looked like the favorite in the West after they ran over Michigan State, 34-7, dominating that. Iowa scored on defense twice to help lift it over Rutgers, 27-10 over the under as well. And Ohio State cruised the victory over Wisconsin, 52-17. And as the search for a new head coach for Nebraska football carries on throughout the season, we're going to take a look at a number of the potential hires and give you our thoughts. Our first candidate is Dave Aranda. Dave Aranda got the Big Ten tie and been at Wisconsin. He's got the national championship tie being at LSU as defensive coordinator, highest paid defensive coordinator in the country at the time. And his first year at Baylor, he turns the program around. They win the Big 12. He wins Coach of the Year in the Big 12 as well. His resume, it's not long, but it's definitely complete in terms of what you might be looking for. You agree?
Yeah, I think one thing you got to look at, though, is he basically turned down LSU and USC last year. They both made a run at him, got his pay up to $6 million. So he is pretty comfortable at Baylor right now.
Yeah.
With this type of job, it'd take a lot of money, obviously, number one.
And that was after his first year being at Baylor. And Nebraska's not like going right now to USC or going to LSU. They're incredible. I'm not saying there's not pressure at Nebraska, but I think the next coach is going to get some time to turn it around. LSU and USC never give coaches time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's a little bit different, but I understand what you're saying.
And I think I'm guessing he's going to have, if Auburn opens, Auburn's going to go after him as well. He'll have a lot of people go at him. And a year ago, he did as well. I mean, both those jobs at least kicked the tires on him, and he got a nice raise out of it and is making $6 million at Baylor.
Yeah, I think I like Dave Aranda. I think a couple weeks ago he was my one. I like the defensive mindset. I've leaned more towards a defensive-minded coach in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. You win more football games in the Big Ten, 17-13, 21-17. Rarely are you winning football games, 52-47. So right. I like what he's about. The familiarity with being at Wisconsin, being at LSU. The other thing is what's the Big 12 going to look like here in a couple of years?
Yeah. It's going to be a good league, though.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
But then playing, your second fiddle to
They're still going to get a playoff spot, though.
Yeah, but it's like just the evolution of the conferences. What's the Big 12 going to look like? They like being, behind Texas A&M. So to me, there's some factors in here.
But maybe if he's as good as he's been, maybe they're the big dog in the Big 12.
Potentially.
BYU could move up to that spot, too.
Yeah, Cincinnati could be a team. I mean, it's going to be interesting looking. I see what you're saying. Some of those Pac-12 coaches, I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah. Because
they may get left out. That's one of those things you could bring up. But a lot of other coaches, we've talked about already. Bill O'Brien, we mentioned a little while ago. Lance Leipold, we'll look at him as well as we go along. And Lance has got all the ties to Nebraska you could ever want. And Matt Campbell, one of the things I like, not a defensive guy, but an offensive line guy. I like that about him as well.
Yeah, Matt Campbell's been very loyal to Iowa State and has really been comfortable there. Similar background. He's a D3 guy like Lance Leipold, coached in the MAC like Lance Leipold. Has taken Iowa State to winning a Fiesta Bowl. I mean, that's amazing when you think about what he's done at Iowa State.
Yeah,
I really like him. I like his intensity, just what he's able to get. Out of not having you don't get top 25 recruiting classes at Iowa State, and just what he's able to do. I mean, he's competing with the Baylors. He's gone to Oklahoma and beaten them a couple years ago. So I like what he's about. Attention to detail. I like Bill O'Brien as well. Again,
Bill O'Brien's got a heck of a resume. He's coached with everybody.
Just what he was able to do.
Coach Tom Brady.
What he was doing at Penn State. When they were essentially on the death penalty after the Sandusky issue. So I like him a lot as well. I mean, there's a lot of good options. It's all got the puzzle pieces have to fit perfectly in my opinion.
It's interesting on Bill O'Brien. Alabama fans are kind of bored with him.
Yes.
I mean, there's a sentiment down there that they want him gone anyway. I got a call today from a colleague in Alabama. He goes, "You guys, does Nebraska?" I think he's.
They
don't
have the talent they've had. They have talent. They don't have the wide receiver talent they've had over the last 3 years.
And he's not Lane Kiffin or Steve Sarkisian to Alabama fans, so he doesn't have. And Georgia's gotten so much better in the last 2 years. So he's kind of the guy that Alabama fans are pointing the finger at, and you get the sense they'd be glad for him to move on.
He likes to run the ball more than those other two guys did. This is from John on Facebook. I'm going to give this to you, Jay. What's going on with our lines? Is the strength coach and what they're doing adequate, in your opinion?
My favorite saying, listen, Nebraska had a leg up on everyone in the 70s, 80s, early 90s because they were so much more advanced. Teams were coming from, visited Lincoln, Nebraska every offseason. What are you guys doing? Why are you guys more conditioned in the fourth quarter? Teams have caught up. Like everyone's strength conditioning program is the same. It's just about the facilities. I always say when guys, you get how much is this guy bench and squatting? It's all good, but you know what? Weights never fight back.
Functional strength.
That's functional strength, but also what do you got between the head? And when you're tired and you got to have some dog in you to fight. Some guys can get under a bench, under a bar and bench 315 15 times, but they got to be able to have some fight in them. And I just don't see, they haven't had that fight yet this year.
For you, Sean Patrick from Facebook, are you surprised that Bryce Benhart is still going to play tackle?
I think it just tells you about more of the situation they have there. Kevin Williams could play tackle. He's out. Hunter Anthony is an option.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller, I think it's quite a drop-off. He just hasn't really put himself in that position. So with Prohaska's injury, I just don't know what else they could do. Brock Bando could play tackle. He's played tackle in his career.
In high school, he did.
At Nebraska, he has. He's been a backup tackle. So, it is interesting, but it just tells you the lack of options they have right now.
Yeah, where he thought Hunter Anthony, just a little bit of tape that he had from Oklahoma State, I thought he could play there. I'm surprised that he hasn't made more of a push for that starting spot with the way Bryce Benhart's played. So
yeah, it will be interesting to see.
Start burning questions, sir.
All right, my burning question, what will this Nebraska defense look like with the bye week, a new coordinator? Can Bill Busch really start the repair of this defense here in this first game against Indiana?
If the game gets off a little, quite slowly, Nebraska gets down by maybe 1 or 2 scores, what's this fight look like? These kids have been through a lot. I mean, if they show some fight and they can hang in there and hang with Indiana, that'll be a very positive sign for what Mickey did during the bye week and going forward.
Coach Joseph said he wanted to play out of the special teams, out of the return units, kickoff or punt. Can they get one of those to make a difference in the game? Don't forget to head to our website, Facebook page, and click on the prediction. Jay, Sean, and I will tell you exactly what to expect on Saturday. Nebraska hosts a night matchup with Indiana for homecoming at Memorial Stadium this week. Kickoff is scheduled for 6:30 on the Big Ten Network. Next week, we break down the game with our guest Greg Smith from Inside Nebraska. Our thanks to Rob Zatechka, Steve Sipple, and the student volunteers in the call center for joining us tonight. For Jay Moore and Sean Callahan, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week on Big Red Wrap-Up.